Newsload London presents.
I don't understand. I go out to dinner with these guys and they don't listen. I just want flowers and they say nice things to me.
I know, because you deserve it.
I agree.
I know. It's hard.
What did you do to land your husband? What was your secret?
He's lucky to have me. Let's be
go.
honest.
There you go. There you go. That's how it's done.
That's right.
So this is what we call the Newsload psych test.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you ready?
Okay.
This is intense. So now you have not been warned
No.
as to what you will be faced with in this segment.
But you ask the questions, right?
I do ask the questions. Yes, and feel free to react however you feel is appropriate. Okay?
I think it might just be that. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so here's our first one. So in this case, I want you to choose one, okay?
Okay.
This is a choice question. All right, here we go.
Can I see what kind?
Nice. Tell us why you chose that one.
Well, I mean, it's local. It's jumbo. What a sad story. But also there's more of it.
I love that answer.
Hi, I'm Carrie Ann Stevenson and I'm with Newsload and I'm here with Lindsay Mathyssen. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Great. Thank you so much for having us. The influence of social media, do you love it? Do you hate it? Is it a winning positive battle?
Oh my gosh, I still call it the social medias. It's fast evolution of social media and the incredible thing that it can be, but also some of the dangers involved and that commercialization of it, that it's not just that pure information that our traditional media has to go through to sort of back up a claim. And I think that a lot of it is, I mean, it's education, right? So that if the next generations are taught how do you discern fact from opinion, and how do you value that opinion in good ways and bad ways? How do you find that balance?
I want you to tell me if you recognize the implication.
Uh-oh.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah. Apples and oranges. As in you can't compare them?
You tell me.
Orange. Because it's orange.
And they're
orange
different.
is always better. And they're different. Yeah, but
That one's going a bit bad.
yeah.
So
You can cut that out. Sorry.
yeah.
Eat it rabbit.
But they are very different, right? Apples and oranges are different.
They're very different, and so you cannot compare them.
How do you react to conspiracy theories?
I try to hear people out. I always do, even when we disagree. That's actually part of going back to that social media part and being able to communicate one-on-one, hearing people out, hearing their frustrations, kind of understanding where it's coming from, but saying, oh, okay, well, if you send me some information, like maybe I can see where that's coming from. Oh, did you see this video? And I'm like, okay. And then we went through and I was able to just look it up on my phone, and there's a whole bunch of news stories about why that video was disproven. And I'm like, well, did you see this? Oh, and then the reaction kind of changes. Now, there's some folks who will never accept that either, but you have to try, and you have to do it hopefully with as open a mind as you possibly can.
This is the same thing. I want you to see this. Use your amazing politician skills, okay, to figure out what the implication here is. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Do you know how to recognize that?
Poop from bull?
Reverse that order. That's bull.
Bullshit, yes. Oh, was I allowed to not? I can't say that?
You're totally allowed to say that.
Oh my gosh.
So as a politician, you don't see that very often, do you?
Yeah.
It is.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of spin. So it's good that he's kind of curvy, I suppose. Swirly for all the spin.
I believe his emoji was created in Canada as well, so that's kind of Canadian bullshit.
Canadian connection.
Here's a conspiracy theory that I heard. People think that food inflation is a secret government plot to make us lose weight.
No. That's not true. However, in terms of grocery prices, I think that it's absolutely valid to start to go into, and certainly my party has gone into this idea of greedflation, and the fact that those same grocery stores are using inflationary times to increase their profits. I can use these fairly well, though. I'm Italian, and so there's a bit of a spinning aspect to that noodle bit.
So you prefer the fork over the chopsticks?
I do.
That's good.
And me as a single girl, I prefer the disposable aspect of it to be able to just throw it out so I don't have to do the dishes.
That's very sensible. That's very sensible, Carrie.
What do you think about questioning one's loyalty to Canada?
Even across the aisle, I might disagree with a conservative or a liberal's way of doing things, but they legitimately are there. They're away from their families. They're working hard, and it's. I believe, except for maybe a few here and there, deep down we're all doing it because we want to make Canada better. And we have different ways of thinking of how that will work and how that happens, but that we want to make Canada a better place. That question of loyalty, I don't agree with it in any way, shape, or form.
That's a Canadian moose.
Yes, it is.
And a Chinese panda. Which one do you prefer, Lindsay?
Oh, but I mean, it's so adorable, but always.
But they're both adorable.
They are both adorable. But it'll always be the Canadian option.
I hear you. That sounds like
Always.
a good choice.
Although, didn't Stephen Harper bring in pandas to the Toronto Zoo? Were they made Canadian
That's
officially?
suspicious.
Right?
I believe they're sort of borrowed and on loan, but always
Are they
Chinese
listening?
property. Are they listening?
Did they influence those zookeepers? In it?
I don't know.
With their cuteness?
With their bamboo
Absolutely.
chewing.
So cute.
They were talking. That was real.
Moose are scary though.
That was
like
real.
They can be very dangerous, but it's about
Huge.
respect for your natural environment, which Canadians have.
And the serious allegations of Chinese Communist Party interference with Canadian elections.
There needs to be a clear distinction between the Chinese government and the actions of those few versus Chinese people overall. I think that it's an absolutely real concern. We've seen a lot that has come from the government of China that is worrisome, that we need to be very, very aware of. And one of the key things that we're trying to push for, that we pushed from the start, is that there has to be a public inquiry. Knowledge is power. Bringing more to people. They can handle it. They can know. And yes, there's like 10% of the information that needs to be classified and what have you, but that's a significant change, I think, to where we are. And people are incredible, right? Your neighbors are incredible. And so to share that sense of community with people and to open up and to understand them a little bit more. I mean, we're all going through a lot of the same stuff. We might see it a little bit differently, but those commonalities are way more than those differences.
Boom.
Oh my God.
Which one?
Oh man, with the cheese.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the pizza.
You recognize that? You
Well,
know what
those are
that
the-
is?
Well, they're the balls that you spin, right? And it
Chinese
shows
voting
dexterity
balls.
and yeah.
Yeah,
And the
F
fact that I
F
did
them,
this
right?
while I.
F them, right?
she's married. It's
This
fine.
is like exercise. Also, the other thing, but
You're a fan of the mega Canadian pizza?
Oh my God, yes. Oh.
She's Italian.
So, yeah.
Do you have like any influence in the medical issues that are being debated at this point?
Absolutely. The federal government, it is shared jurisdiction between the provincial governments and the federal governments. The Canadian government has a role to play in terms of the enforcement, protection of the Canada Health Act, which speaks of the universal and provision of health care. But ultimately, New Democrats were founded on the ideals of Tommy Douglas, who was the key mover of and bringer of health care and that Medicare to Canada. You know, hero, and sometimes, you know, when your day's rough, you turn. And, you know, he was working 50s, 60s, 70s, so, you know, in a different time, so, yeah. In terms of what else is here, another one of my heroes is Jack Layton. The London Fancy NDP, we will make and sell anything that we can in terms of swag so that we can keep fighting in a system where eventually one day I want to see money out of politics and that process, but until that point, but we made
that's
Jack
really interesting.
Layton, Jack Layton bobbleheads.
I love
and
Jack
always,
Layton, by the way.
He always agrees with what I say.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want some? You know what? You want some food? You hungry?
What do you got?
Yeah, here, check it out. I got one for you, too.
Aw, that's nice.
Yeah, go ahead, open it up.
Jewelry! All right, I love shiny things. That's amazing.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
Yeah, some guy came, they said they were from the CPC this morning. They dropped this off and wanted me to bring it for you.
Maybe I'll wear it tonight later.
Okay.
And thank you.
Do you think it's more dangerous to be in politics because you are a woman?
Yes, sadly. And again, it hasn't always come at me, but from what I've seen from my colleagues, what we talk about at caucus, or when we're sitting after a really long day and we're sitting having a glass of wine and sharing those stories, it is. Our government is far better when it actually truly represents the diversity that is in our communities. So we can't step back from it. We just have to keep moving forward with it.
Well, I'm happy to report that you have passed the Newsload psych test. Very good job.
I'm electable! Yay!
Well, we want to thank you for your time and thank you for joining us. But one last request, if you can say it loud, if you can say it proud, I love Newsload.
I love Newsload. And thank you so much for coming today. No, the kissing the pretty boys is awesome sometimes, but also being by yourself in your PJs watching some TV and you choose the channel is also awesome.
I agree. So I need a happy balance.
We all need a happy balance.
Cheers to that,
Cheers
Lindsay.
to that.
This is the Newsload.